こんにちは、eHoops です。レイアップなどリング付近のシュート能力、つまりフィニッシュスキルはどのポジションにとっても非常に重要ですが、あえて言うと現代では特にガードのようなアウトサイドプレイヤーに重要視されるようになりました。ファントムカメラのような技術が発達し、今までよりも詳しくバスケットボールを解析できるようになった現代では、オールラウンダー化することが重要であると分かってきました。結果、センターのようなインサイドプレイヤーが外からも得点できる、ガードのようなアウトサイドプレイヤーがインサイドでも得点できるというのが大事になっています。しかしながらインサイドプレイヤーに比べて全般的に背が高くない傾向があるアウトサイドプレイヤーがゴール付近で得点することは容易ではありません。つまりディフェンスの方が背が高い、身体能力があるなどの不利な条件下でも決めることができるフィニッシュスキルを身につける必要性があるということです。ポール・ファブリッツがそのようなスキルについて説明・解説していますので見てみましょう。
So I remember when I first got to college, we had just started practices. We had guys like 6'10", pretty athletic on the team. And I remember I went through the lane and I went up and I hung, went under, and he just jumped and turned with me and pinned it off the glass. And from that moment forward, I realized I'm not going to be able to get off those shots at the next level. So in high school and youth basketball, there's a lot of stuff that you can get away with. You can rely on getting in the lane and jumping and hanging and finding a way. And not that that doesn't have a place, like you want to have that in the bag, but if you're relying on going through the lane and hanging in the air, it's too late, you already lost. So from that point forward, ever since that dude blocked my shot, I started going floaters and hitting him and getting my extendos off. And from then on, I was able to finish in the lane really whenever I wanted. What is Extendo? Basically, Extendo is an extension layup. So what I was telling the kids is if you're playing within your frame, it's too late, you already lost. You have to learn to play outside your frame. You got to learn how to close somebody off and get out here to really be able to finish at the next level. So today I'm just going to go over what the Extendo is, show you some NBA highlights of how players are using it to get their shots off. In all honesty, it's probably the number one shot that you need to develop as a young hooper. So let's get after it, let's get to work, let's get better. Like every move, the Extendo has its roots. It's essentially the evolution of a hook shot. Close off the defender, extend laterally, get buckets. Every generation of hoopers tends to imitate and then innovate. So the principles of the traditional hook remain the same, but the way it's used is where the player's innovation comes into play. For now, I'm gonna shut up and just let you be a visual learner. I got a good breakdown in a few minutes, so I'll circle back.
You're enjoying this, Greg, aren't you? You like it? Which allows the drive down the lane. Irving, nothing points from the bench tonight. Irving tries to carve his way by dunking his way into center screen. The news adjustments. He's officially not a rookie anymore in this league. The galloping Kyrie Irving. What a play by Irving. He gives you a little. Performance out of the gate after the All-Star break. Irving count it and one.
You see that strength of Kyrie Irving though? He initiated the contact.
Little crossover. There's Gobert. In the forecourt, changes hands, takes it to the basket.
That's what you call being a pro, right?
Cullen weaving into the paint and one. There's your
McCollum into Pekovic, scores!
Another sweeping hook.
Final 5 seconds.
going to work. LeBron James hooks. Got it! He did it with 1 second left!
Extendo rule number 1, stay closed off. So staying closed off basically means if I have a defender riding with me here and I open up and turn towards him, I'm going to get that block. So staying closed off means chest to baseline. So if the defender's here, I'm chest to baseline, ball's out laterally, so he has to go over my shoulders to block that shot.
So in this clip, Curry goes up against one of the most athletic bigs in the league. Notice how Steph goes inside shoulder to DeAndre's chest. Now in this case, that means Steph's chest will be pointing towards the baseline, but sometimes that angle will change. For example here, Nash hits the reverse, so he still aligns inside shoulder to defender's chest, but since it's a reverse lay, his chest faces the opposite direction. Different situation, but the principle remains the same. Inside shoulder to defender, extend laterally to finish.
Extendo rule number 2 is you gotta hit first. So when we drive the lane, we gotta be the ones that hit. Now you can hit on the ground or you can hit in the air depending on the situation.
Now let me clear something up on that real quick. Anytime we're driving the lane, we're usually going to battle or we're going to space. So here obviously Kyrie's going to battle. He's going off 2 feet strong, angled inwards right through the chin of that big, and he's finishing with physicality. Now in these clips you'll see Steve Nash actually avoids contact and just finds open space. Neither of them are right or wrong, it just depends on the situation. Now on this extendo, I actually created space without getting physical. Notice my last step was long, slow, and directly towards the defender. By claiming space with that step, I altered his jump pattern and timing, which gave me the extra inch I needed to get that shot off. But for now, let's focus on learning how to go to battle and use our physicality for that extendo.
So if you're gonna hit in the air, it's much better to go off 2 because we have a wider base and we're more stable, or go off the outside leg. So if I were to go off the outside leg, I'm already directing force inwards. So I'm jumping in, and as the big jumps, I'm gonna hit him, which is gonna knock him back, which then gets my separation for that lateral extendo. Okay, so hit in the air, that's one option. The other option is hit on the ground. So if the defender was here, I could hit and then take another step and then go lateral extendo. Both work, kind of depends on your specific body, your length. For me, I'm 5'11" with a 5'11" wingspan. So if I'm going against somebody my size, or say they're under 6'4", I'm gonna be fine going up, hitting them in the air and extending. That's what I'm the most comfortable with. Now, if I go against a 7-footer with bounce, and I hit him in the air, even if I get good extension, he's still probably gonna be able to block that. So if you're above 6'5", for me, if I'm driving the lane, I'm gonna hit you first on the ground to get you knocked back, and then I'm gonna take another step for more separation.
So let's take a look at hitting on the ground first. For this, there's no one better to study than James. He really has this down to a science. Now notice when James hits you on the ground, he gets you off balance enough to where you can't even jump. And if you can get off the ground, at the very least you're jumping backwards and you can't elevate vertically to block his shot. Here's another great example of how to go to battle with that outside foot takeoff. Here, Kyrie initiates the contact at takeoff, and notice that inside angle that he has. This allows him to hit the defender with a lot of force, which drives Danny Green backwards. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. If you're hitting the defender with a lot of force, isn't that an offensive foul? The answer is no, but let me explain why.
So how we hit is just as important as when we hit. So if I'm going through the lane and I dip my shoulder, offensive foul. If I'm going through the lane and I get him on the forearm and extend, obviously offensive foul. I gotta hit as hard as I can with my upper arm. So in between tip of my shoulder and elbow, I gotta hit as hard as I can there. Since we're not dipping, we're not gonna get the offensive foul.
All right, we're back. So notice when guys go to battle off 2 feet, they play the angles game. So here, Kyrie's left foot is way outside his center of gravity, which means when he jumps, he's going directly at the defender. Now, pay close attention to this clip and tell me what stands out the most to you.
Drive. A little crossover. There's Gobert. A little cross.
Isaiah basically uses himself as a human pinball, meaning he uses his body as a shield, then bounces off Gobert towards the rim, which provided the extra separation that he needed.
Extendo rule number 3 is stay protected. So as soon as we hit, we got to find a way to buy ourselves a little extra lateral separation. So one way, the conventional way, is right here. Now, kind of kills fluidity. So you don't see many guards coming through the lane and going there. Is it effective? Yes. But you see this a lot more with like stationary hooks, like a big going there. And the way that you see most NBA guards do it is they'll hit and then they'll go here. So it's hit here as an armbar, because look at that. I now have 12 inches of extra separation because their body is here and I'm out here compared to being in there. Okay, so you already have a lot of separation from the hit and the extension, but I guess call this your insurance policy, is that extra foot of separation there.
Here's a few examples of the insurance policy. This is a perfectly executed extendo from Isaiah, and really pay attention to that right arm and how he holds off the defender with that armbar. Now on this play, I get an early armbar on the defender, which allows me to go with a one-hand pickup straight into the extendo. And on this last example, take a look at this picture-perfect armbar hold-off from Kyrie. Now that's artwork.
Extendo rule number 4 is we need full elbow extension. So a lot of people, when they start to learn the extendo, they like to go here, and even though it's outside of their frame, which is good, they make it into a push. We do not want to make it into a push. We want to go full elbow extension, and it's more of just a hook shot. Our hand is under the ball. It's more of a pull than it is a push.
エクステンドというスキルは特別に背が低い選手だけに必要なものではありません。基本的にバスケットボールは上のレベルに行けば行くほど平均身長が上がってきます。例えば185センチで中学校ではセンターだったプレイヤーが高校に入って身長が伸びずガードやフォワードに転向したというのは決して珍しくありません。身体能力も上がってくるので多少の身長差ならブロックできる選手も出てきます。つまり上のレベルを目指すプレイヤーにとっては誰よりも背が高くて身体能力も高いというわけじゃなければエクステンドのようなスキルを身につける必要があるということです。また残念ながらバスケットボールにおいて身長が高くないことはとても不利なことです。しかしながら映像にあった選手たちはほとんどの選手が NBA の平均身長よりも低く、特にアイザイア・トーマスとルディ・ゴベアは175センチと216センチで身長差は41センチです。もしスピードが速いなどの高い能力があったとしてもそれだけでどうにかできるほど簡単な差ではないことがわかると思います。逆に言えばエクステンドというスキルがとても有用であること、身につけることでたとえ身長が低くても十分に活躍できるようになるということです。周りから背が高くないから厳しいと言われたとしても諦めることはありません。自分を信じて練習を続けましょう。
Alright, we've been through all the rules, you've seen all the NBA clips, by now you should fully understand the extendo. Now it's time to master it. So the first drill that we always start off with is just stationary hooks. So I didn't even demo this because it's very simple. We start around the block, we go off inside foot with no real movement, and we just work on getting chest to baseline and fully extending that elbow and getting it off the glass. I want you to stay stationary until you get 9 out of 10 from both sides. Once you get 9 out of 10, now we can progress to the next stage. But the first key is really just getting that touchdown, because a lot of people underestimate how much touch it actually takes to get the ball outside of the frame and then still kiss it off the glass. We have to master that basic ability before we bring it on the move.
So once we're completely confident, stationary off inside foot, outside foot, and 2 legs, we'll take it on the move, but we're going low speed, so we'll go 1 dribble. To get our reps up, I like to do the Mikan drill, but we just extend it a little more. So I'll take it out here, and hit here, and hit over and over and over again. Once I'm 90% there, I can take it a little higher speed. So I might go from the free throw line and just go boom, every different angle, high, low protection. Once we're 90% there, we might take it to the three-point line and then to the NBA three, and then eventually out of transition. Now, once we master that in the block practice setting, we go to more randomized, where now we're switching it up every single rep. Low speed, high speed, 1 foot, 2 foot. Then we'll start adding a defender. A million different ways to go about it. At the end of the day, once we master the touch and the mechanics of the Extendo, we got to go out and find defenders that are bigger, stronger, faster than us. Only way that you truly develop the real habits that you need for this move is playing against bigger guys.